Hello everybody, today we start the second chapter of economics, sectors of the Indian economy. Before we start, we need to have a look into some key concepts related to it. As in the first chapter, we must have observed the various concepts of development, how development is different from financial growth only, how monetary gain is not everything, why monetary gain or monetary benefit or monetary advancement is not everything when it comes to or when we talk about development. We read about these things. We also read about the very concept of HDI, then World Bank, UNDP concepts, how the basic criteria set by them to consider development status and all. Now in the second chapter we come across certain other domains, other issues, like when we speak about sectors. When we speak about sectors, we need to understand why are they classified. We need to understand the different classifications and the reasons behind it. Okay, so here before we start, we need to have a look at something. Remember, there in the very first chapter in class 9, the story of village Palampur, you must have seen that different kinds of economic activities have been described there. You observed it, and you also observed that the economic activities that are described there were actually what? These activities are like some activities are related to agriculture, some activities are related to the second stage of activity like production and all, and some are like the service related, right from the doctor to teacher to cobbler to barber, or many other kinds of jobs, and which in fact involve activities like services, so call them service sector. Here in this chapter we are going to have a look at these areas in a detailed manner. Okay, so let us see. Have a look at the pictures in your book. What have you seen? Different types of activities are described here. Have you noticed it? Different types of activities are described here. Clear? Now, if we look at this different kinds of economic activities, we find what? That there are many activities that are undertaken by directly using natural resources. For example, the cultivation of cotton. Clear? Okay. But the thing is what? It is a kind of activity that takes place in the crop season only, not the whole year. Clear? And for the development of cotton plant, we depend mainly but not entirely on natural factors like rainfall, sunshine and climate. Clear? The product of this activity like cotton is a natural product. Similarly, in the case of an activity like dairy, we are dependent on the biological process of the animals and availability of fodder, etc. The product here, milk, is a natural product. Understood? In the same manner, minerals and ores are also natural products. When we produce a good by exploiting natural resources, it is an activity of the primary sector. You have to have a look at this unit. See here in your left hand side, primary agriculture sector. Primary within bracket is agriculture, because we have to produce it from nature. It's not produced by us using machine and all. It is procured from nature. Hence, it is from primary sector. These kinds of activities are considered as primary sector activities. Clear? Primary sector. You have to have a look at the images here. See the different kinds of activities shown here. I hope it's clear. Clear. So why are they known as primary? That question comes in. Why primary? Why not secondary or any other name? Clear? Because it forms the base for all other products that we subsequently make. Understood? Suppose you are to make a sweater, the base is cotton or wool. Okay, a dress is to be made, the base is cotton, so it functions as the base. Minerals like iron, you need an industry, you need to build a machine. Now what will you do? You need iron, Now this is the base, and this base is procured from nature. So this is, we can consider it as the base sector that produces everything. You want biscuits, but for that you need wheat. Where do you get it? Again from nature. So wheat is the primary base. Without wheat you cannot make biscuits. Understood? Do you get the point? Hence it is known as primary sector, because this sector functions as the base for all other products that you subsequently make. So this sector is known as primary sector. I hope the point is clear to you. Since most of the natural products we get are from agriculture, dairy, fishing, forestry, this sector is also known as agriculture and related sector. Why so? Because the base sector, as we called it, base sector, it has got its main things related to agriculture. Clear? Agriculture, then dairy, then fishing and forestry. Hence it is also known as agriculture and related sector. I hope the point is clear to you. Next comes in the secondary sector. See, the name itself, primary, then comes in secondary, means based on primary. Clear? Let's have a look at it. This sector covers activities in which natural products are changed into other forms of products or other forms through ways of manufacturing that we associate with industrial activity. Clear? Say a machine is to be made. Clear? Now the core thing for it is iron and steel. Now these are found in nature. Understood? Hence based on primary, but the thing is what? It's not the primary thing. It is developed into a second stage code product. Hence it is known as secondary sector. Clear? So all sectors related to manufacturing, see the plastic bottles, the paper, all these things are actually industrial productions. Clear? Farm productions. So whenever we have products that are produced from primary products are known as secondary sector, and since the products are manufactured, it is known as manufacturing industry or manufacturing sector also. Clear to you? It is the next step after primary. I hope the point is clear. The product is not produced by nature but has to be made, and therefore some process of manufacturing is essential. This could be in a factory, a workshop, or at home. For example, using cotton fiber from the plant. We do what? Using cotton fiber from the plant, we spin yarn and weave cloth. We do it or not? We do that. Using sugar cane as a raw material, we make sugar or gur. Clear? We convert earth into bricks and use bricks to make houses and buildings. So that is also a case of secondary sector. I hope the point is clear. And since this sector gradually became associated with different kinds of industries, so it is known as industrial sector. Is that clear to you? Point is clear? Now, after primary and secondary, there is a third category of activities. It's all based on economic activities. Remember in class 9 we did it. Class 9 you read the chapter also. Now based on these activities we have got primary, secondary, and there is a third category of activities that falls under tertiary sector and is different from the above two, because with primary and secondary we find products. With tertiary sector we find services. Clear? You don't get anything material, but what you get is service. Understood? Hence it is known as service sector. What happens in this sector? These are activities that help in the development of the primary and secondary sectors. These activities by themselves do not produce a good, but they are an aid or a support for the production process. Clear? Aid means help, assistance. Clear? For example, goods that are produced in the primary sector, primary or secondary sector, would need to be transported by trucks or trains. Clear? Suppose he produces banana. He produces banana and he produces banana biscuits. Now what will happen? His production of banana is to be carried to the market or a common place where from he will have to buy banana. A and B, let's take it. B will have to buy banana. Clear? So this carrying, the market, all these things come under service sector or tertiary sector. Clear to you? Clear to you? Okay. So it functions as a link between primary and secondary, and then secondary to public consumers. Clear? So this sector, understood, is known as tertiary sector. Apart from that, there are some other areas that are to be taken into consideration when we talk about tertiary sector. What is it? Goods that are produced in a primary or secondary sector would need to be transported by trucks or trains and then sold in wholesale or retail shops. At times, it may be necessary to store these in godowns. Clear? At the same time, we need to say hello, how are you, sort of thing. So over telephone we need to communicate that also, or send letters or borrow money for production to help from banks to help production and trade. There are many other activities: transport, storage, communication, banking, trade are some examples of tertiary activities. Now since these activities generate services rather than goods, hence this sector is known as service sector. Clear? We don't get goods, we get services. Hence it is known as service sector. Point is clear? Very good. Service sector also includes some essential services that may not directly help in production of goods. For example, we require teachers, doctors, and those who provide personal services such as washermen, barbers, cobblers, I told you a little while ago, lawyers, and people to do administrative and accounting works. In recent times, certain new services based on information technology such as internet cafe, then ATM booths, call centers, software companies, etc. have become important. Clear? All these come under tertiary or service sector. Clear? Primary sector is related to production of goods. Secondary sector is also related to production of goods, whereas tertiary sector does not produce any good, but it is to provide services. I hope the point is clear. Clear? It's very good. So basically we found that sectors can be on the basis of nature of the activity performed. Based on activities, there are three sectors in economics: primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. Clear? It's all based on what? Based on activity. Based on the nature of the activity, we have got three different kinds of sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Now again, based on ownership, we understand who is the owner. On the basis of ownership, sectors can be classified into two categories: public sector and private sector. When the government is the authority, we call it public sector. When the owner of the company or anything is an individual, when an individual or group of individuals or group of companies are in charge, not the government, then it is private sector. Apart from these two sectors, we have got joint sector also, where both the government and the individuals or groups of individuals work together. Clear? Such a sector is known as joint sector. Otherwise, it is public and private, the traditional classification. Clear? Now, on the basis of the condition of the workers, we classify the sectors into two categories: organized sectors and unorganized sectors. Clear? So, as of now, we have already discussed primary sector, we have discussed secondary sector. So, in secondary sector, we found what? It covers activities in which natural products are changed into other forms through ways of manufacturing that we associate with industrial activity. Clear? It is the next step after primary, where the product is not produced by nature but has to be made. Some process of manufacturing is essential. It could be in a factory, a workshop, or at home. Clear? For example, using cotton fibers from plants, we spin yarn, we cloth. So these are there. Using sugar cane as raw material, we make sugar or wood. We convert earth into bricks. So since this sector is associated with different kinds of industries, it is called industrial sector. Points are clear? In the YouTube link you will find the images supporting it. Okay. Then comes in tertiary sector. Under tertiary sector we found that transportation comes under tertiary sector. Clear? Storage comes under tertiary sector. Communication comes under tertiary sector. Banking comes under tertiary sector. Apart from that we came across the services of a teacher or a doctor or an engineer. Many are there. Okay. Service. You understand it? Okay. So these things come under tertiary sector. I hope the points are clear. Points are clear. Images will help you understand even better. In the group you will find. Okay. Now, if we compare the three sectors, I am going to discuss a portion of it is skipped as of now. I am going to discuss it later on. Okay. Now, if we compare the three sectors, this will make you understand it in a better way. Because the section that we are skipping is value of final goods and all. Why we consider it and all. I am going to tell you about it. If I tell you now, you will get distracted. In order to maintain things in a better way, I am just giving you a synopsis of the three sectors first. Clear to you? Let us start comparing the three sectors between 1973 to 2003. If you see the statistics here, value of sectors of Indian economy rupees in crores. 1973, if you check in your book, turnover and find, statistical data is given. Turnover and find. Yeah, here. Okay. So if you see, yeah, 1973, in some of the books you will find 2013-14 data given. In some books it is 2003 data given. Clear? So I'm not going to go specific with the data. I'm going to tell you the contribution sector, how it is contributed. If you observe, you will find that in 1973 the contribution was higher from primary sector, whereas in the coming years the service sector or the tertiary sector started contributing the most. In 2003 and all, you must have observed. In 13-14 also it is same. Clear? So what is actually happening here? That is important. See, all the underdeveloped countries are found to be more dependent on agricultural sector. All the developed countries are found to be more dependent on industrial and service sector, that is tertiary, secondary and tertiary sectors. Clear? Do you understand the point? Do you understand the point? So this is where we calculate, we analyze. Clear? In your book you are not given the data with percentage and all, you have to find it out. Here in the screen I have shared it this way so that you get it done or you find it there. Okay. Now we are observing two cases here. Number one, case one is about the people, the contribution in terms of crores of rupees. Clear? So into 1973 the contribution was highest from the agricultural sector and the condition of the country was also very bad. Just post-independence period, first 20 years of independence. Clear? So things are not okay. Then in 2003 we find the situation is changing and the industrial sector as well as the tertiary sector has started contributing to the GDP. We are going to discuss the very concept of GDP also in the next slide. Okay, so this is how it goes on. Now if we take the second graph, you find what? Share in of sectors in GDP. Share of sectors in GDP. Have you seen it? There you find things are given but not with percentage, but I will tell you the percentage here. In 1973 the same data is analyzed here only, nothing else. In 1973 the percentage of actually agricultural sector contributed the highest amount, highest percentage, whereas the industrial sector contributed the lowest. Clear? Whereas in 2003 the service sector contributed the highest and the primary and secondary sectors contributed to an extent is okay, you may say like equal, okay, or a little more. Agricultural sector contributed a little more, but the scenario has changed with time. Clear? In 2013-14 if you observe, you will find that the secondary sector, that is industrial sector, is contributing more than the primary sector. But there lies a problem with us, with our country. What is the problem? See the number of people employed in each sector. Just observe that. The number of people employed. And this is very dismal. This is very dismal. Because the sector contributing the lowest, consuming the highest number of employers. So our workforce is employed at a place where from we are not getting sufficient amount of money or products. Clear? Because we find that people in developed countries are more associated with industrial sector and service sector, whereas in our country people are more associated, or most number of people are employed in agricultural sector or primary sector. Hence we are still developing. We have not developed yet. Clear? Because this agricultural sector is not contributing much to the economy. The points are clear? Clear? Moreover, there are many other issues which we are going to discuss in the chapter agriculture. Clear? So I hope these points are clear. Now GDP, the very concept. First of all, we need to understand. Now I will tell you about the very concept of this finished good and all. How do you count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector? That is a vital question. How do you do? If you open at page number 22, you will find that we always consider the final goods and services for measuring values. Clear? The value of final goods, and that is there comes in the very concept of GDP also. Clear? The value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provides the total products of the sector for that year, and the sum of production in the three sectors gives the gross domestic product of a country. Understood? GDP shows how big the economy of a country is. Now you must have come across one particular term, final goods and services. Am I right? Final goods and services. So what is it? What is it? What is that final goods and services? Do you need to understand it or not? Yes. For example, suppose you take, say, any section. Let me tell you. Say banana producer. He produces banana. Now, what happens with this banana? That is to be understood. He produces banana. Clear? Okay. So out of the banana produced by him, say he produces 25 bananas. Okay. Now out of these 25 bananas, 15 bananas are bought by B to produce banana biscuit. Clear? To produce banana biscuit, whereas 10 bananas are bought by customers to eat. So his production from primary sector, out of the productions from primary sector, 10 products reached the customer straight away. 10 products reached the customer straight away. Clear? As a result, this banana is the final stage product for those customers who bought it to eat. Understood? Understood, because they are just buying it to eat it. Do you understand it? So what is happening? Say the value. Now let's take the value of the bananas. Okay. What is happening here? 25 bananas cost 250 rupees. Let's take it. It's very costly. The very big bananas it produces, so it's very costly also. So 250 rupees. Let's take it this way. Now what happens here? Out of this 250 rupees, what is happening? 10 into 10, 100 rupees. The value of rupees 100 is already consumed and calculated because it has reached the final stage. What is the final stage? The stage when something reaches the consumer is known as the final stage. Clear to you? Now here comes in next 150 rupees. Now we have to calculate the total amount of production of the country. Clear? So out of this 25, what you calculate? This rupees 100 is added to the total production. Clear? Total products of production, gross domestic product. Now what is left is rupees 150. What should we do? He has got 250. So should we add it or not? That is the question. Now, suppose we add this 150 rupees which you got by selling 15 bananas to B. What will happen? Suppose we add it. Now, B does what? B produces banana biscuits and then he sells it for rupees 250. B produces banana biscuits from banana and then sells it to the customers as final products and gets rupees 250. Now, when he sells it, does it include the 150 that is spent to buy banana or not? It is already included. Now, if this 150 rupees was included by A in the list of total sale and all, what will happen? There will be overlapping. Clear? There will be overlapping. Hence, this 150 rupees means the cost of 15 bananas should not be added to the gross domestic product because it has not reached the stage of the final stage, means the stage when it reaches the consumers. Clear? If we calculate the intermediate stage, because these 15 bananas are not at final stage, they are at intermediate stage. You understand it? They are yet to get its final shape, get their final shape. Hence, they are considered as intermediate products. Do you understand my point? Hence, they are considered as intermediate products and they are not to be considered, or their value need not be added to the GDP. Clear? So, what value is to be added? The value of final goods and services is to be added. Do you understand the point why it is to be done? Because if we take the value of intermediate products, it will result in wrong calculation. It will result in wrong calculation. The real income will be 100 and the calculation will show 200. Clear? Because same thing will be calculated twice. This is not to be done. And so, how to avoid this? The only way available is to not include the value of intermediate goods or products. What is to be included? Only the value of final goods and products needs to be included. Clear? And when the final goods or final value of all goods and services are added, when final value of all goods and services is added, we get the total value from three sectors. What are the three sectors? Value from primary sector, total product from primary sector, total product from secondary sector, total services from service sector or tertiary sector. Now, in totality, they make gross domestic product or GDP. Clear? GDP. Now, GDP shows how big the economy of a country is. I hope this sector is clear. Clear? Points are clear? Understood now? Very good. Now, sectors of Indian economy. On the basis of ownership, Indian economy is classified into two sections: private sector and public sector. Private sector and public sector. What is public sector? It includes all those economic activities that are owned and managed by government agencies. Major activities are social security services, managing national defenses, administering public transportations. Clear? For example, you can take some examples of public bodies in India and UK also. Our educational bodies, we know the education is run by the government. Healthcare bodies, police, prison services, local and central government bodies and their departments all come under public sector. You understand the point? Railways and all these things. Although nowadays the government is taking initiative to privatize some of the units of railways. Even earlier also, cargo services and many other services were under private sector. I hope the points are clear. Clear? Good. So, then comes in private sector. What is private sector? It involves economic activities that are managed by private institutions. And what is the main intention of the private institution? Is to make profit. Profit making is its sole purpose. However, some exceptions are possible and functional in the sector. For example, retail stores, credit unions, local business will operate in the private sector. Clear? For example, you know Tata In the banking sector also we have got Axis Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, HDFC Bank, clear? All India banks, then Karur Vysya Bank, Yes Bank, we must have heard the names. ICICI Bank, IndusInd Bank, have you heard the names? So these are the examples of private sector. I hope it's clear. Clear. Now we have got another set of classification, as I told you earlier. Classification on the basis of the condition of workers. What are these? Organized and unorganized sectors. What is an organized sector? The organized sectors cover those enterprises where the term of employment is regular. They are registered by government. They follow rules and regulations and various laws such as the Factories Act, Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Gratuity, Shops and Establishments Act. Workers in the organized sector are paid according to prescribed scale. They also get payment in time on regular basis. They get annual increment and other allowances such as Provident Fund, payment during holidays, paid leave, gratuity, medical benefits, safe working conditions. Understood? They can form trade unions also. Although some of the features are made mandatory by the government for unorganized sectors also. Clear? It is made mandatory nowadays in many areas. There are restrictions on private individuals or unorganized units as far as employment of people are concerned. Clear? Now let's move on to, so you understand this organized sector. The photos, if you observe, you will find what it actually means. Let us take unorganized sector. The sector which evade most of the laws, as I told you, most of the, not all of the laws. The sectors which evade most of the laws and don't follow the system come under unorganized sector. Small shopkeepers, some small scale manufacturing units also keep all their attention on profit making and ignore their workers' basic rights. Workers don't get adequate salary and other benefits like leave, health benefits, insurance. These are beyond the imagination of people working in unorganized sector. Do you understand it? These are beyond the imagination of people working in unorganized sector. Clear? It follows some photographs. You will observe, see it here. Okay. Now India's workforce in organized and unorganized sectors. The statistics will make things clearer to you. Okay. Statistics will make things clearer to you. You will observe and see, understand it when you see the video in the YouTube. Now, there comes in another concept known as employment. We know it. So, what is unemployment? Job and all are there. Now, what is unemployment? Employed, you understand. Now, what is unemployment? When a person is, mind it, when a person is willing to work at the prevailing wage rate but fails to get a job, it is called unemployment. Are you unemployed? No, you are not unemployed because you are not willing to work. You are not willing to work. Hence, you cannot be called unemployed. You must be willing to work at a rate which is already in vogue, at a rate, set rate, prevailing wage rate. But you are not getting any work. You are unemployed. Understood? The point is clear? Clear? Now, there are many other concepts related to unemployment and all that we need to understand, because if we skip these areas, it will be a big mistake. The very concept of unemployment is clear to you? Clear? Let's see the different categories of unemployment that we find around us. In the statistical data presented to you earlier, we found what? That more than half of the workers in the country are working in the primary sector, mainly in agriculture, producing only a quarter of the GDP. In contrast to this, the secondary and tertiary sectors produce 3/4 of the produce, whereas they employ less than half the people. So what does it mean? Does this mean that the workers in agriculture are not producing as much as they could, or anything else? Let's see. What it means is that there are more people in agriculture than is necessary. That is the point. There is more people in agriculture than what is necessary. And so what is happening? So no one is able to work as per his or her capacity. Clear? So when a person is unable to work as per his or her capacity, or in other words, when the addition of a new person does not contribute to production, or when you delete or move one or two persons out of the production unit, but it does not rather affect the production, then such employed people are known as underemployed people. Clear? Understood? So what is happening? Even if you move a few people out, production will not be affected. In other words, workers in agricultural sector are underemployed, you may say, because most of them are unable to work as per their capacity. Clear? Their activity does not contribute to total production. Hence they are known as underemployed. I hope the point is clear. Good. Let us take the case of Lakshmi, owning about 2 hectares of unirrigated land dependent only on rain and growing crops like jowar and arhar. Arhar is a kind of dal, we know. So millets, you know it. All 5 members of our family work in the plot throughout the year. Why? They have nowhere else to go for work. You will see that everyone is working, none remains idle, but in actual fact their labor effort gets divided. Each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. This is the situation of underemployment, where people are apparently working, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. This kind of underemployment is hidden in contrast to someone who does not have a job and is clearly visible as unemployed. Hence, it is also called disguised unemployment. Disguised why? Because they are not unemployed when you look at them apparently. But if you look at the production and all, then you see that they are not fully employed. They are working, yet they are not working. You understand the scenario? They cannot work up to their full potential. Hence they are known as disguised unemployed. Clear? Apart from that, there are some other kinds of unemployment. For example, seasonal unemployment. What is that seasonal unemployment? It is found with labor class section. For example, masons or agricultural workers also who are associated or who get themselves involved in seasonal activities like crop production and all. What happens when it is off season? They do not get any work and remain unemployed. Such kind of unemployed people are known as seasonal unemployed. I hope it is clear. Understood? Point is understood or not? Good. So what can be done? So comes in another point, what can be done to create more employment when there is unemployment? You see, from the above discussion we find that agricultural unit does what? It associates more people than it is needed. Clear? So we need to shift this labor force from agricultural sector, this primary sector, to secondary and tertiary sector. Now these two sectors need skill. These two sectors need skill. You understand the point? So we need skillful people who can do it. Do you understand? Take the case of Lakshmi with her 2-hectare plot of unirrigated land. If you look at it, there are 5 members. Why should all work in the same field? 2 can work there because this field needs 2 members only. The other 3 can work in some other places. Do you understand the point? So if we take it as a nation, if we take it as sector, then it is like we need to shift the labor force from primary sector to secondary and tertiary sector in order to ensure full employment. Is that clear? Point is clear, I think. This is what you will be finding if you read this text, the following parts. Is it okay? Okay. I want you to read it. Now, as far as the government is concerned, the government has also taken many initiatives to address the issue. Let's have a look at different government initiatives that are taken to address this problem. Let's see. Government aided schemes to fight this unemployment. What are these? Government from time to time announces and implements various unemployment schemes to fight unemployment or hidden employment to help the weaker section of society. Schemes like NREGA, that stands for National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, is the latest announced by the UPA government in 2004. Clear? This program guarantees a minimum of 100 days of employment to at least one person from every rural household. This is a part of government's effort to ensure right to work to the rural poor citizen. You understand the point? Good. You understand it? So NREGA is actually given to you in another form also. You will find a photo sort of thing in the video that will make it clearer. Now, what is it? You may be asked to write a short note on NREGA. Okay, so you will find it in the video. You will have to copy it from there. Is it clear? Good. That's all. So if we try to sum up, we can do it, but it's not needed at present. It's all. This is how we end up. Okay.